Hi, this is Phil with Castle. I want to show you how to change the router bit and the drill bit on the Castle TSM-12 Pocket Cutting machine. First, I want to mention that the router bit and the drill bit that comes with the machine were designed to give you the best performance possible on the unit. If you decide to go with a different brand of router bit or drill bit, just be aware that the performance may suffer. I also wanted to make you aware that we do have a few more options as far as router bits and drill bits on our website, depending on your application. Make sure you check that out. With all that being said, let's get started on changing the tooling. So I have the TSM-12 on its back. First thing we want to do is remove the pocket cutting router. There's a T-shaped knob up top on the motor carriage. We're just going to loosen that up and hold on to the router. We're going to pull it straight out. Go ahead and remove the cord and plug it from the outlet in the back. Now we can go ahead and remove the pilot hole router. Easiest thing to do is just to go ahead and get the cord out of the way. I'm going to unplug it. Just leave it in here for now. The router is held on with a hose clamp. You can see that here. You can use a flathead screwdriver or a 5/16 socket. I like to use a multi-bit. I know that this is 5/16 when I pull this actual insert out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. I'm going to loosen it up. This particular hose clamp here is actually has a quick release on it. So if I pull this over like that, you can see that it's totally released. I'm going to move that out of the way, and then I can get in here and pull that router out. So I've got both routers on the table. We're ready to replace the drill bit and the router bit. The TSM-12 actually comes with a aluminum depth gauge. You'll notice that it has R for router and D for drill. So those things actually get set on top of the collet, and you simply align it to each letter. Just like that. What I like to actually do is when I'm pulling this out for the first time, I flip the depth gauge around and I actually scribe it. Just go gently across the router bit. You get a scribe line there. Same thing with the drill bit. So the TSM-12 comes with the router wrenches. So we're going to go ahead and replace the router bit here. So we're going to take the included router wrenches. We're going to start out with the pocket cutting router. We're going to put the small wrench on the flats on the router shaft, and then we're going to put the big wrench on the nut. I like to use the one-handed method to loosen this. There's usually another portion that we're going to need this on. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and take the router bit out. I'm going to grab my new one here. Be careful, these are sharp. I'm going to set in there just a little bit. I'm going to snug it up just so I can move it around. There we go, that'll work. I'm going to take my gauge. I'm going to position it so it lines up there. That looks good. And I'm going to take my wrench, put it on the nut. We'll snug this up. That's good. We don't need to over tighten it. Set that one aside. Grab the palm router. Same thing. Small wrench is going to go on the shaft, flats on the shaft, and then we're going to take the large one, put it on the nut. And take our new bit and drop that in. Same thing, we're just going to snug this up just so the bit doesn't move on us. Then we're going to take our gauge. We're going to line it up with our mark. That's good. And then snug it up with our wrenches. That's good. Now we can reassemble the two routers. Now we're going to install the pilot hole router first. That's the small one. So the router sits on this flange and the flange that's over here. You'll also notice that there's a notch up there. That is a stop for the top of the router. I'll show you where that goes. So this is the proper orientation of the pilot hole router. You'll notice that the spindle lock is over here. If we look at the other side, you'll notice there's a protrusion that sticks above the motor housing right here. This is our key reference point. So the notch that I showed you on the inside, we're going to push up, we're going to hit this face here, and then we're going to turn it so it sits right in that position. Let's go ahead and mount it. Now we can take the pilot hole router. We want to feed it up into the hose clamp. And we're going to spin it again until the red spindle lock is on the left side. Go ahead and put the cord in here. Push it into the motor carriage. I'm going to do this one-handed, but obviously it's going to be a lot easier with two. Again, this is a quick clamp, a hose clamp, so I'm just going to push it over, and then I'm going to fold the bolt back onto the clamp. We'll snug it up a little bit here. Now I'm going to push the router up until it hits that notch. Then I'm going to spin it until it stops on the protrusion. Now I can tighten that. Okay, I'm just snugging that up. We don't need to over tighten it. Just make sure it's firmly mounted on the back carriage there. That's good. Okay, so we're ready to install our main router. This is the motor carriage. You got the U-bolt right here. The router actually goes in between here. The router itself has a flat spot. There's a bevel right here. The transition, this point right here, is going to stop on the motor carriage right on this lip right here. So we're going to go ahead and put our motor in. I like to put the cord to the left side. We're going to slide that in. Hold it up tight to the motor carriage. Push it forward. Snug it up. Again, we don't have to over tighten this. Just make sure it's firmly locked into place. Now we can take our cord, put that inside the unit. Can go ahead and plug the small router in to the outlet in the back, and then we'll plug in the big router. There we go. That's it. We'll go ahead and flip the unit upright, and we're ready to go. So I hope this video was helpful. Make sure that you cut a pocket or two and some scrap before you get started with your project. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.